Greetings, everyone. Good evening. This is the Medicine Lady making a Wednesday wellness video, which is all about expanding your well-being, focusing on the word be, capital B-E. So I'm really excited actually about getting to make a video today. It's been a very interesting day. I would not say it's been a negative day at all, but definitely there's a lot of birth canal birthing going on. I know I'm making this video much later than I had planned to, just because I had a number of people that I needed to hold space for, and I did that in a way that worked for me, and I did what I wanted to do, and now here I am. So those of you know me and the way I move in the world. I'm a person that's divinely guided. I go in the direction that spirit and my heart guides me. And so here I am, and there's some really interesting things that are going on right now. First of all, big picture, we have a couple of really important planets in retrograde at the moment. We have not only Mercury, of course, which went retrograde officially on Saturday. It's stationed on Saturday and started officially moving backwards on Sunday. But we also have the planet Uranus in retrograde, and when a planet like Uranus goes retrograde, it's really kind of intensifying its effects on us and really asking us to be in our truth, to really awaken. And then Mercury right now is in retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is, just as much about truth in its own way. Jupiter is more about universal truth, about like higher law. And so when Mercury stations and goes direct and appears to be moving backwards in relation to the Earth, it's really this beautiful time to resolve or redo a situation. And right now in this era that we all birthed into, the age of Aquarius, our ancestors, many of us, for a number of generations, they were living in an area and a reality where there were not as many tools for transformation that we have at our disposal now. And so a lot of us, we really came in as light workers and as healers, and we came in to transmute a lot of darkness, a lot of lower vibrations. And so right now during this Mercury retrograde, in my personal belief, there's a lot of karmic situations that are coming up and asking to be resolved and healed. So there's a few themes that are really jumping out to me for today. And the one I want to start with is all about polarities. Here on the three-dimensional reality that we live in here on planet Earth, we have the polarity of light and darkness. And for whatever reason, and we can go into that another time, there is this predisposition or this inclination in our culture, in our world, to have a judgment against the darkness, right? And the truth is that we really have to learn how to navigate both. Because, of course, without one, we couldn't have the other. And so a lot of times when something bad is going on, we have a trigger. And we get these intense emotional reactions and energetic triggers that happen. And so what's really important is that we can pull ourselves out of the trigger so that we can really see the energy, and that we can see the polarities that are going on. So during this intense time, and this is an intense time, I see a lot of people definitely dealing with what I call the spiritual birth canal types of situations, kind of like make it or break it, like shit or get off the pot, or, what's really going on. A lot of things are kind of coming up to be revealed, and there is definitely this theme of truth, and again, Uranus in retrograde is like your personal truth, and Mercury in retrograde in Sagittarius is really about the truth, that you cannot escape from truth. Reminds me of one of my soul brothers who I remember he went through a phase where he was sort of obsessed with that concept of truth. And it's true that there are universal laws that govern the universe, that are inescapable here in the third dimensional reality, and even beyond the third dimensional reality. There are such things as universal truths. So it's an intense time. A lot's coming up to be cleared and healed and resolved, and as many of us know, that's what Mercury retrograde is all about. It's a chance to go back and revise, redo, resolve, re-examine, and the whole point, the whole concept is to gain clarity and to gain resolution and healing around whatever the situation is. That you can free yourself of that burden. You can free yourself from that stuck energy or that unresolved experience or energetic. So one of the things that I think we're also practicing right now is discernment. I think part of this process of really fine-tuning our truth and being asked to stand in our truth and to get really clear about what our truths are, is all about really discerning situations, discerning our own emotions, like what is truth from illusion? What is truth from illusion, And discernment is really important because once you can discern a situation, you can respond appropriately. But if you're discerning it incorrectly, then you're going to be responding in a way that does not bring more clarity. It's not going to bring resolution. It's going to bring confusion, right? And it happens all the time that there are energies, oftentimes from past lives, karmic situations, karmic energies, that are coming up for healing. They're being recreated for the purpose of healing. But if we're not aware of them, or if we're not able to step back and gain clarity on what's really going on, then these energies, they literally recreate more trauma. They come up and they're seeking healing, but they require a lot of balance. They require a lot of discernment. They require a lot of intentional navigation, and awareness, and the ability to really step back and be still. And so if that's not possible, if that's not going on, what ends up happening is that the two people or the person or the situation, that past life karmic energy that's seeking resolution and healing isn't going to find resolution and healing. It's going to recreate itself. It's going to create a new trauma. And so that's why it's so important to de-trigger the situation and to be able to step back. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute once we get through kind of what's going on right now. But it's just an unusual moment. There's this combination of the planet Neptune was in retrograde and just went direct. Planet Uranus being in retrograde, Mercury being in retrograde, specifically Mercury being in retrograde in Sagittarius, ruled by the sign of Jupiter. It's a very unique moment in time. And so I just want to really encourage people to hang in there, to really take that time to discern what's going on and what is it that you really want. What is your truth in this lifetime? What are you really about? This is a time to really take that time to define that and fine-tune it, gain that clarity. Discern for yourself what's going on. So in terms of some suggestions, there's all the obvious ones, right? I talk a lot in my videos, especially recently, about, clearing your field and getting really clear on your energetic boundaries with people in your life, with energies in your environment. So there's all those sort of obvious ones that kind of apply all the time. But right now, there's sort of a specific course of action that I know I've been working with. And it has to do with finding that middle ground, finding that balance point with the polarities, where, you're taking right action, you're moving forward, you're taking action towards your goals, right? But at the same time, you're really, really calling in that energy of faith. And the reason you're calling that in is that you could be busting your ass all day and all night working towards your goal. But a lot of times, if you're holding that energy, of struggle, and that energy of lack or limitation or fear, it's not gonna flow. Things are not gonna come together in the way that they could. So for me, I really see it as this beautiful balancing of, taking action and doing everything you can to accomplish what needs to be accomplished or to heal whatever needs to be healed. But at the same time, bringing in that energetic of faith. And, the deeper the situation, the more you really have to call on the Most High. The more you have to take whatever it is and give it to God. And then you come into that place of surrender. And I know that me personally, I've been dealing with a situation in the last while, but specifically in the last 7 to 10 days. And, struggling and doing everything I could and, just busting my ass. And I finally, it wasn't shifting. And I finally got into this place of, at first it kind of looks like the, I don't give a fuck type of attitude. But, and sometimes you've got to really watch out for that hopelessness energy that wants to come in and just that give up energy. But if you can hold space for that part of the journey, and you can stand your ground and keep the vision, what you can shift into really is that place of surrender, where you can stop the struggle. You can stop struggling so hard and stop swimming upstream. And then that's where the grace comes in. That song, Amazing Grace. That's a deep song. I might have to post the lyrics to that. And so it's taking right action, but it's also being in that place of surrender and trust. Because when you really, really walk in that energy of trust and faith, that's when the miracles just drop out of the sky. I talk a lot about manifestation and, manifestation and all of this is all one. It's all tied up together, Prayer, walking in faith. Walk in faith and not by sight is probably my favorite quote right now. It has been for a while because it's just so powerful. You can't give up faith when the thing that you need to happen doesn't materialize in front of your eyes, right? Because it's like a lot of times we co-create these situations with our higher self, with our ancestors, so that we can break through. It's like you think about the baby in the birth canal. The baby in the birth canal actually gets squeezed in the birth canal so that it can be prepared and all the fluids and everything can be freed. So that when it comes out, it's ready. And that's how it is with us. We can't go through these changes. We can't make these transformations. We can't push ourselves. We can't grow and expand and reach new heights if we don't get squeezed. So it's like, what if instead of getting squeezed or being squeezed, what if you really owned the birth canal? What if you really owned the process and you could actually step back from whatever you're dealing with right now and see it from the outside? See it from the hawkeye, the bird's view. That's why I wear this ring. It's a symbol of my 2 spirit guides. And so when you can find that stillness, do your deep breathing, go on a walk, do whatever you have to do, and be able to deactivate that emotional reaction and that energetic trigger and see it from the outside, you can depersonalize it. You can take the people out. You can take yourself out, and you can get to the bottom of what's really going on. What is the source? What is the foundation? What is the underlying energies that are playing out right now, and what's really trying to resolve? And then you can be a participant in the resolution as opposed to a victim or someone who's just trying to survive a situation. So I think that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to share today. Being in the birth canal, I talk about the spiritual birth canal a lot. It's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity to see it from a new perspective and to master it. It's like, really, we came here for mastery. And just like any athlete can tell you, it's like mastery isn't always easy, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. So at the end of the day, as long as you continue to choose integrity and you continue to choose to be in right relationship with yourself and others and the environment, you're going to come out on the other side. You're going to come out on the other side. And the more you practice really giving it to God and calling in faith and surrender, the more you really are becoming like that polished stone. You're becoming that diamond. So keep up the good work, everybody. I know for those of us who are highly sensitive, you know, healers and people with big hearts, you know, it's not always easy. It's not always easy at all. And let me know if you have any questions. Right now, for the holidays, I'm running a holiday package where I'm doing three of my sessions for the price of two. And I've actually decided to start offering a new session that is basically about toxic release. So whether it's a situation, a person, an energy, an old karmic pattern, it's like really getting into it and seeing it from the outside and shifting it. It seems to be sort of the theme of what I'm working with people on right now. So I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't think I know you, whoever you are, but I appreciate you joining me and hanging in there with me. I always talk about pretty deep stuff. So thanks to everyone in advance who's going to watch this video after this. And let me know if you have any questions. All right. Peace, everybody.